You're drinking from the fire hose, basically, not necessarily like taking at pace to be like, is this really my role, or could I be delegating some of this? It's Kareen here, and what you're about to witness is one entrepreneur's journey on how they navigate a challenge or need support in an area of their business with me. Results may vary if you try this on your own. The purpose of sharing this with you is to help you know that help is always available and you don't have to do it alone.
They try to be responsible for everything in the business, for people in the business, for just a family-wise, in front of the kids, in front of the...
all your roles,
It just showed for me at this point, though I learned to be responsible for others and to manage and to lead, there is still a lot of room definitely to grow, etc. But that's something I've learned that I can do. But at the same time, I feel like that I didn't manage to take care of myself in this
process.
Yes,
you're drinking from the fire hose, basically, not necessarily like taking at pace to be like, is this really my role, or could I be delegating some of this? Do I need shared responsibility? So that's helpful, because the what I like to follow up with on that question is, what's one thing you want to improve upon as you lead your business? And it sounds like you're answering it a little bit already, but tell me in your own words, like what would you like to improve upon knowing this about yourself?
So being comfortable with delegating, I'm learning it, being comfortable in delegating, and that not everything should be done by myself to be done well, and the level and sometimes it may be done even better by someone else rather than me, and I tried to do so recently. I've just added to the team the person who is officially my assistant, but I felt it's still challenging for me to delegate. So I try to do so, but I think it's something that I'm learning right now.
Okay, you're in it. Yeah. So would it help you at all to share some frameworks on how you initiate being a leader, not just managing all the things? We could focus some time on that if you think it would help in the delegation side of things. Because I think what happens when we initiate a company ourselves, or, we start with the idea and we're the ones that we created it, or we were always being the ones that everyone came to for all the questions. When you first start delegation, it needs to start from the things that absolutely should not be on your plate anymore for you to manage. So if you haven't already done like an inventory list for yourself of all the tasks that you have on your plate, to then say, you know what, these tasks I want to keep. So I like to score them on a level of fulfillment. I call this my fulfillment factor exercise, but it's basically like, what are the things that actually light you up about the business that you want to keep doing, that you want to be part of your job? Because if we can design your time first to be the things that you actually want to be doing, then it's so much easier to delegate the things that are like a lower score, right? And then you take that. So anything, you score on a 1 to 10, 10 out of 10 is like highest level fulfillment. And then anything under an 8 is things that you could delegate. And most of the time, there are things, anything lower than like a 5, really, you got to question, is it still needed? Like, do we really have to be doing this thing? Etc. But what it starts to do is it creates job descriptions based on the tasks for anything below an 8 for you to delegate. And what's really great about this list, if someone is hired as an assistant, right, they're there to assist you. They're not managers. So they're mainly assistants right now. Can you grow them into a manager? Maybe, if they have that kind of interest in the future. But of those tasks, you can literally review all those tasks with your assistant, because an assistant needs to know everything you're doing in order to figure out how best to assist you. So this list then now becomes something as a dialogue with your assistant to say, look, my goal is to get everything that's under an 8 for someone else to take care of.
Mhm.
Of this list, what are the things that you can pick up for me? Unless
Mhm.
you want to identify it. I don't know how seasoned this assistant is for you, but you can identify, be like, I need you to pick up taking on these 3 things, these 5 things. But now you have a clear dialogue on what you want to hold them accountable to doing.
Mhm.
And then it becomes easier to get things off your plate to give your time back to then manage how they do those things. Now, generally, when we hire, and people forget this a lot, but when you bring in team members, it takes more of your time upfront to onboard them, to train them, to know how to do things. So you can get very exhausted in the beginning. So this also helps you direct yourself to say, okay, I'm going to just start with these 3 things and focus on that for the next 2 weeks and make sure that they are master at doing these 3 things, right? Like you get to decide, but don't try and dump all the things, because that actually comes back to you because you have to train them on all the things, right?
Exactly.
So it's double the work. So you want to segment out in an order that gives you the most freedom of time to then do the things that you're meant to be doing for your business. But this now gives you a framework of what it means to delegate tasks off your plate, to show them how. And then you want to be able to set up time with them, especially if they're newly onboarding to this role or this kind of work with you, where there's like a daily check-in of how's it going? Is there anything that's blocking you? Is there anything that's needed? But it's scheduled on your calendar so that you know you have dedicated time with that person to give them another task, to train them on another thing. And it's not like ad hoc in disruptive to your schedule, because that's really critical too when you're onboarding and training somebody.
Perfect.
Eventually, too, in those check-ins is a time for you to give critical feedback. I noticed you did this yesterday. You did a great job doing this and this. This area needs improvement. And you always want to give 2 compliments before you give the thing they need to work on.
Sandwich approach. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because then that way they know, okay, great. Like I'm doing this, but hopefully that's a framework you can follow and just be consistent on, because then anybody you hire, eventually you're going to hire managers. Eventually you're going to hire, sales or like more senior people who might not need that level, but it's your framework for hiring, training, and ensuring how performance actually meets your needs, so that you're not because you said earlier, I really don't want to continue to be the one that always thinks that I'm the one that can do it best. Like I have to give them an opportunity to do it their way and then help them continue to improve on their way. And that's the way you do it, is to spend time with them monitoring, but not doing.
Yeah.
So it's always monitor, give feedback, have them do it again. And then if it doesn't work, they're not a fit for that job, you change it up. Then you might have to step in for a short period of time until you bring the right person in. But you cannot build people up unless you give them the time to show you, like, this is how it could go down. Just want to remind you that breakthroughs and strategies are here for you. You don't have to be isolated on your business building journey. If you'd like to have a chance to connect with me and let me be all up in your business, go to heykareen.com/connect, and a team member will share how you can obtain the best support at this time. You always can have me in your pocket by leveraging my AI. Go to heykareen.app, download it, and start chatting away. And of course, I am always here, willing and ready to be the support you need. All you have to do is ask.